In the beginning of the story, we are shown that a man deliberately leaves his cat on a road. This cat gets very worried that I don't know why his family did this. She was a cat living in the house. She didn't even know about the outside world. When she starts following her family's car, she is saved from an accident. And that's when she finds a walking dog. Seeing her condition, he tells her that when people get tired of pets or get bored, they leave us alone like this, on any road or in the park. Listening to this, the cat was blown away. The next day happens and this cat sees that a black cat was also left on this road like her. This cat wanted to go to her to talk while running, but that cat climbs on the wall of a house and goes inside the house. Now when our cat goes inside the house while following the black cat, she finds a black dog instead of a black cat, which is now badly after her. Our cat is now just trying to save her life. She is running fast to save herself from this dog. In order to save her life, she goes inside the house in fear, in which this dog does not come. Now the cat thinks that this house is the best place to protect her. That's why when she tries to go inside the house, she sees that all the doors of this house are closed. There was no way to go inside. That's when she notices that 2 pigeons have gone inside the house through a hole made above. The cat also follows the same path and goes inside the house, but as soon as she goes inside the house, she is very scared. She was getting scared. One was so dark here and on top of that, there were so many strange things here. When she goes ahead, she sees an orange from a tree and throws a strange thing from behind. In the same way, while being beaten by all the things, she falls on a poster and on the other side of the poster she finds a rat. This rat is scared of this cat and immediately runs away from here and goes to his rabbit friend. When he tells him about the cat coming to his house, this rabbit immediately goes to the cat and tries to scare him and get him out of here. Actually, this is the house of a magician and all the things that the cat faced were also magical things. The magician loved to keep pets and this was what Jack was afraid of, that if the magician saw this cat, then this cat would also start living with him and in this way the love of the rabbit and the rat would decrease. This cat had now gone out of here in fear. It was also night and it was also raining heavily. Where does the poor cat go? She hides in a lighthouse and accidentally falls into the house when the lighthouse opens, where she sees that the magician is playing with her small creatures. These are the creatures of the type of robot. All of them could have spoken. While playing with them, the magician suddenly finds out that someone is going to come into his house. In the same way, he hides all his small creatures. Then the door opens and a boy comes inside. Actually, this magician is the uncle of this girl and this boy is very greedy. He always used to come and tell the magician that what will you do by living in such a big house? You sell this big house and go and live on a good island. But the magician wanted him to always live in this house. Now they were arguing about this that suddenly this boy starts getting allergic. Actually, this girl was allergic to the cat and now because the cat was in the magician's house, this boy could not stay in the magician's house for a long time and leaves from here. After the magician leaves, he goes to sleep while talking to all his creatures. But because of the boys running away from here, the rabbit and the mouse find out that somewhere the cat is in the same house because of which the boy was allergic. And now they were thinking of a new plan to get the cat out of here. Now in order to get rid of this cat, this rabbit and this mouse make a lot of noise and with this noise the magician's eyes open. Now what was the fear of this rabbit? It happened. The magician had seen this cat and he decided to keep this cat in his house. Now the magician introduces this cat to all the creatures living in his house. And in the joy of its arrival, now all the creatures have a great party here. At night, the cat goes to sleep with the magician when the rabbit and the mouse come to him again, who had come to scare this cat so that he could not stay here the next day. But this cat did not pay attention to what he said. He was in the same house the next day and was having a lot of fun with all the creatures in the kitchen. Now as soon as the rabbit finds out that the cat is still in the same house, he immediately goes out to kill it. But then from behind, the magician grabs that rabbit by the ears and puts it in his magic box because he was going to take the rabbit to the magic show. Now the magician leaves with all his stuff on his small cycle for the magic show, which was in a hospital. He sees that the cat is also following him, so he takes the cat with him. For small sick children in the hospital, the magician was doing this magic show. The children are very happy to see this magic show. The show ends and the magician starts coming back to his house. The rabbit sitting inside the box sees that the cat is sitting on the box. He thinks this is a good chance to get rid of this cat. Get rid of it before you go home. He starts bothering the cat through the holes in the box. Before the cat jumps from that box, the balance of the magician's cycle is disturbed due to its movement and it collides with a car. And in this way, the magician has a very bad accident. In all this, the cat had also fallen very far and was unconscious. When he comes to his senses, a dog from there tells him that the magician is in the hospital. He has had a very bad accident. This cat was responsible for all these things. The magician is shown whose whole body is broken. He is in the hospital, while in his magic box, all his pets are very happy that he has got rid of the cat. In the hospital, the magician also comes to meet his nephew. But here too he says his selfish things that now you should leave the magic show and you should also sell your house. You should go and live on an island. But the magician also refuses to his words this time. Now because the magician had shown the magic show in this hospital a while ago, the children who had seen the magic show come to meet the magician. And open the magician's magic box, from which the pigeons fly and go to their house. Because of all these noises, the nurse had also come here. The nurse teases all the children from here, while the scene now shifts to the cat. It is being shown that this cat has come back to the magician's house. Now the pigeons had also come here. Along with the cat, they tell all the creatures of the magician that the magician has had a very bad accident. And his bad nephew is doing bad plannings to sell the magician's house. After hearing all this, the cat tells all the creatures here that what happened, if the magician is not here, we will have to take care of the magician's house. We have to be ready. We will save this house from that boy. As soon as he says this, the scene shifts again to the hospital, where that boy has come to meet the magician with some papers. And I don't know what false stories he tells. He also takes the sign from the magician on those papers. After that, at the request of the magician, he had come to leave the magician's magic box at his house. It turns out that he had got his house signed on the papers and now he wanted to sell this house. That's why he used to bring new clients every day. As soon as the first client brings this boy into the house, he sees the cat and the pigeons. The cat tells the pigeons to go out and make them all dirty. Pigeons, listening to the cat, give a lot of potty on these clients, because of which the clients get angry with this boy and leave from here. For the time being, they had completed one mission, but the difficulties for this cat had not been reduced yet. Now that magic box had come inside the house, which also had a drag inside it. He comes to the magician's house and tells everyone that the magician's accident has not happened because of anyone else, but because of this cat. He tells all the creatures that if this cat had not come into our lives, then everything would have been fine today. The magician would have been with us. Before all the creatures get angry with the cat tells the rabbit that you also know that that boy has energy from me. If I had not been in this house, then that boy would have come to this house long ago. I don't know how much mess he would have made and by now this house would have been sold. We would have all gone out of this house. After hearing all this, Jackie knew that it was necessary for the cat to stay in this house, but he does not allow the cat to roam freely, but locks the cat in a cage. Now the next day, that boy brings a new client and this time he had come fully prepared that if the pigeons did something wrong, then he would immediately open an umbrella on the client. The client goes inside to see the house, but he himself cannot go inside because he starts getting energy. Now he found out that the cat was inside the house. He wanted to somehow find the cat and get it out of here. He starts trying to find the cat from outside the house. When we find out that the dog that has come with the new client is an old friend of this cat, he helps the cat to free it by locking it in a cage. And in all this, that boy also sees the cat through the window. Now this was free. On the other hand, the client who was looking at the house, the rat scares him very badly. Afraid, this poor client falls from the stairs and once again this client also comes out of that boy's hand and his plan fails. It is shown that that cat went to meet the magician after being free. She was a little scared that maybe the magician would scold her, but nothing like that happens. The magician loves her. Now the magician and the children are playing with the cat. She comes to the nurse's room and the cat goes out of here as soon as she comes, because pets were not allowed in the hospital. Anyway, the scene now shifts back to the magician's house, where like Rose, this boy has brought a new client. This client also tries to scare the rat, but this time it has failed because this client likes rats a lot. Now because the cat had also come back to this house, so Daniel could not come inside the house and these clients start looking at the house in a good way. When the client's wife goes to the kitchen, she is surprised to see that there are some gadgets to do all the work. Because of all this, she likes this house a lot and she decides to buy it. But then all these gadgets made by the magician show their magic and bother her so much that finally these clients also refuse to take the house. While leaving, the client also said to this girl that this house is a ghost, not a horror. Now this girl was not understanding why everyone refuses to take this house. Although this house is not even a ghost, now he decides that he will empty this house completely. When this house will be completely clean, then no one will find this house horror or haunted. After this girl leaves, all the little creatures thank the cat because they had adopted the plan told by the cat and because of his plan, this house was still saved from being sold. But now this cat was not liked by the rabbit and the mouse. After a few days, it is shown that two very fat men have come inside this house. The boy has sent these men to empty the house now because the cat already knew all this, so she was already ready. They now become dragons by wearing a dragon suit with all the little creatures and scare these two men, and drive them away from the house. When this boy is on the way to this house, he sees that these two men are also running away from this house. He does not understand that I do not know what will happen now. He decides that now he will empty this house. As soon as he comes inside the house, the cat hides himself. Now Jack and Red, who did not like the cat, remove his mask with a firecracker, and thus this boy finds out about the cat. Now this boy was about to throw this cat out of this house. Suddenly his energy increases a lot, because of which he has to go out of here. Here, the magician also found out through the nurse that his nephew has got 2 cases signed on the papers of his house, and now his nephew can sell his house any day. Now this boy is very angry after hearing all this. He wanted to go home immediately, but he could not do this because he was not completely cured yet. Here it is shown that today that boy has come wearing a suit that will not give him energy. Now he wants to go home and catch that cat first. This cat was also not going to be caught so easily that when the cat attacks him, this attack also has no effect on that man. Before the boy kills the cat tries to escape from him, and now this boy uses his brain. He cleverly fires on a box that the box had now fallen on the cat. Now all the small creatures of the magician who were watching this fight think that the cat is now dead. The cat was a very good friend of them. They just didn't like Jack and the rat. Now they are so sad about his death that they come out to take revenge. All of them together annoy this boy so much that they throw him out of the house. Now this boy is very angry. He has to sell this place at any cost. So now he decides that he will break this whole house. Now to break this house, he comes in a train on which there was a very big metal ball on which this house had to break through the metal ball. As soon as the boy hits the first ball on this house, the house breaks a lot, and that box also moves in which the cat was stuck. It turns out that the cat was not dead, it was just stuck and she was alive. All the small creatures were very happy to see her alive. Meanwhile, a rat comes here. He was about to talk to them that suddenly something was going to fall on him, that he would die. But here the cat saves his life. Now because the cat had saved his life, this rat also understood that this cat is good and he becomes his friend. Here we are shown to the magician who wanted to go home at any cost, but he was not getting discharged from the hospital. Those 2 children whom the magician had shown magic show, help them. Somehow putting them in an ambulance, they drive the ambulance in a crooked way and finally take them to their house. Here they see that their nephew is breaking Uzi's house. They ask him that why are you doing all this? On which this boy tells them that this house is not yours but mine. Now he was showing them this paper. Here the magician's pigeons fly away from him. He was not able to save them, but still he did not move from his mission. He is still breaking the house. Here, taking advantage of the opportunity, the magician's rat comes to distract him in his crane. The rat shows his work and the cat shows her work. The cat comes and sits on his lap. This girl does not know about it for a while, and then suddenly she gets a lot of energy. Because of this energy, he also loses control over his crane. And the metal ball with which he was breaking the house, the same metal ball falls on his own car. And so his own loss happens. It was very bad with him now. But anyway, the good thing was that his house came back to the magician. The magician and all his creatures finally fixed this house again. And it is shown that after a while, the magician started showing magic outside his house. Now Jack, i.e. the rabbit, and the cat also became friends. Everyone lived happily together. This story ends here by showing them